Hey Pisces, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. We're doing I-ching readings. This is the last of this I-ching series. I'm going to be throwing 3 of these coins and we'll be creating a hexagram, 6 lines. So we'll throw those 6 times. But before I even get started on the coins, we're going to cut this deck so to get an idea of the overall where we're going here. We have the world. Anywhere and everywhere. We're going everywhere, Pisces. This can be like something's completed. The world is often about your solar return. Of course, Pisces is not experiencing a solar return, although you could be checking your sun, moon, rising, Venus, your major placements. And so it's not necessarily that it's not your solar return, but there's a sense of completion. We've done it. We've completed something. There's also a sense of all possibility here. I feel like, we go from this is the final card in the major arcana, and then we start back over again. So with this card, sometimes I feel like it's the, ball leaving the pinball machine. The little floppers can't do anything. It just slides right through, but it goes cha-ching, 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 and now we're ready for the new adventure, right? So this could be, closing out one chapter so that you can begin a new one. Well, so oftentimes our chapters overlap a little bit. But with our pinball machine idea, sometimes I like to think, right, here's our little ball, our little pinball here, the world here. That maybe that little, the satchel, that the Fool, the 0 card, the new beginning card, the sitting there right on that spring, ready to be launched card, the Fool card, that he's got the whole world of possibilities in his little satchel as he heads forward. So the World card is sort of a transitional card to me. But there is a sense of completion. Everything that needs to be created here has been created. There's also a sense of the forces larger than us, that we're often little boats on this giant sea of history, and we don't get to control the waves, but we do ride them and we do our best. So it can be all the forces outside of ourselves that influence our lives, the much bigger forces, much bigger movements through society, through history, even geological movements. So there's an orbit has been completed. There are more orbits to come, but one has been completed. Okay, let's throw these babies. Oh, dynamic line right off the bat. We have 3 tails. That's yang energy, but it changes to yin energy. So our dynamic lines are going to create lines that we focus on in the hexagram. Okay, 2 heads, yang energy, unchanging. Ooh, 3 heads, yin energy, changing to yang. 2 tails, yin energy, unchanging. Ooh, oh my goodness. 3 tails, yang energy, changing to yin. 3 tails. This is quite the dynamic reading. We have 4 changing lines. That is quite unusual here. So I'm going to put you on pause, but you won't even feel a thing. Don't worry about it. I'll be right back with our hexagram. Okay, Pisces. So we started off with pretty exciting 4 dynamic lines out of 6 lines. So that's very exciting. And then as far as me, a reader working with the material, it just got even more exciting. So we started off with wind, the trigram wind, right? We have a trigram, thus equaling a hexagram when 3 + 3 = 6, right? So we have wind over lake. So to me, that talked about a lot of movement, a lot of ideas changing, ideas moving, but we've got something that's really well contained. So the lake always reminds me of sort of like ego, or something really well defined and well contained and completely controlled. So it's not water, the theory, the cycle. It's like something that where water sits for a while, where water is contained. It has a name, it has a place on a map, it has a bank, a shoreline. It's got all of these. It is a contained thing. It is defined, it's contained, it's known. We call it by a name, whatever lake you've got near you, we've got a name for this thing, right? So but up here, there's all these ideas, there's wind, there's thoughts, there's ideas about what could happen. But down on a more earthly level, we've got, it's defined, it's contained. This is where this lives, this is what it does, this is, we know everything about this. But what about this? What about this? So there's dreams, but then reality is pretty solid. And honestly, when I was looking at the lines, we have like straight, straight, broken, broken, straight, straight. So to me, that looked like there was an opening. I got this sense of solid forces, maybe feeling like you're between a rock and a hard place, because you're those two middle lines. You're open, you're receptive, vulnerable, flexible, but we've got sort of the higher up ideas and concepts, visions. That's been pretty inflexible. And then the earthly matters have been pretty immobile also, but you've been open. You've been open, receptive, what's going on, a lot like this wind over this lake. So there's just this combination of like some really solid, immovable things, and you're sort of open. But what it changes to is earth over wind. So earth is just wide open, receptive. We've got a hole ready for the seed to go in it. So opening. So we have like sort of fates, and there's an opening in sort of destiny, fate. There's movement there. There's receptive there. I want to almost say like, it's like God's listening. Okay. Like before, maybe you didn't feel that way, but now you do feel like sort of the universal intelligence that we're all a part of has like an opening for you, is ready to hear what you have to say. And you're taking that opening and you're moving towards it. You're becoming a little more determined, where before you were like, flexible. Now you're like, yeah, I could be flexible, but I want that. Like you're not inflexible, but you're starting, there's a shift here where you're starting to like, okay, I can move in this direction. Okay, I see what I want. And you want to make a move. The earthly opportunities, there are also possibilities opening up. Not abundant, like I get this sense of sort of the universe being like open to whatever you want, you starting to stay what you want. And then the earth, or the earthly elements or the details, there might be a place for movement here. There might be a place for you to move forward with something. So we move from wind over lake to earth over wind. And so wind is sort of flip-flopping, like whatever's been sort of open and theoretical out here, or whatever's had a lot of movement in the theory, now is starting to have more movement in reality. So, so our first hexagram is number 61. It's called sincerity. So we focus on basically 4 lines, not all 6, luckily, but because that's just a lot of time and energy. So I'm going to read the literal translation for line number 1, our first dynamic line, enjoying peace, peril, and truths. And so as a reader, this was kind of exciting to me, because the idea here is like, our peace is shattered by events outside of your control. That's life. There's right? I was talking about these events, maybe historical events or family events, things that come through your life, and you just got to ride this wave. Like you don't really get to say how big the waves are that come, because you're a little itty bitty boat on this history wave, right? So, so that's exactly what one of the messages of that world card is. That, I mean, I almost see you like hanging out in your backyard in a hammock. And then all of a sudden there's sirens and there's whatever, and someone comes rushing to you to tell you some news. Like there's just like, and it has nothing to do with you. You didn't make this happen, right? You're just being a little boat, and you were just kind of, and the storm comes through. You were just like out here fishing, and now there's a big storm. You're not responsible for the storm. You're going to have to navigate it as best you can. And this whole reading is basically, you're not responsible for the storm, but you have to do the best with it. And that nothing here is your fault. You're not at fault for what's happening. The rest of the reading is actually very repetitious with that. Like, so You're just hanging out, you're having a good time, you've got, you know, what inner peace you've been able to figure out how to access, and then boom, this external event out in the world happens, and it's gonna rock you. So line number 3 is our second dynamic line here. The literal translation is, the enemy is ours. Some feel elated, others tired, some are weeping, others singing. So people are going to react really differently. So this has this idea that it's more than just you that's being affected by this event, okay? And everyone's going to have a different response. Even winning, you know, we're going to have, other people are going to feel a lot of relief, even if, you know, you get what you want. And some people are going to be happy. Some people are going to have like held in the stress of the suspense of waiting for what happens. So they're going to need to release their pent up negative, or their sadness, their anger, their fear. That's all going to need to be released and let go of. So there's a big event that comes in. You know, I'm not sure that there's anything like that. It's necessarily a negative event. I'm not sure, you know, it's just a big event that takes you out of your peace. So it could be something exciting. I mean, I guess, you know, we think of like our peace as being something that's shattered by bad things, but it can also be shattered by good things. And then I guess the enemy of ours does feel a little like ominous, like there's a battle here. But this is saying like different people are just going to react differently. I've done business with this line before, and one thing it always reminds me of is like in Nantucket when the whaling ships would come back, right? Exciting. The whaling ships are back. They're full of, you know, whale oil for lights and basically money. They're full of liquid gold. They're coming back. This is exciting, right? Except for some people are realizing that their loved one isn't on the boat. Some people are realizing, some people are reuniting with, you know, their child, their spouse, their adult child, their parents, their spouse. So there was like, I don't know if this is correct or not, but there was sort of a rule on Nantucket that when the whaling ships came back, you kept it quiet at the dock because you had no idea what the person next to you was going through. And out of respect for the people who lost their loved ones during the journey, the people who didn't lose their loved ones during the journey would kind of have a subdued reaction until, of course, they got back to the privacy of their own home. But so that's what this line looks to me. People are going to have a lot of different reactions. This event may affect different people very differently. So what this is saying is like, just be sincere though. Like these are like the whole thing, the whole name of this hexagram is sincerity. So just have your genuine emotion, and it's okay to have your genuine emotion. Maybe a little bit of respect for other people, respecting other people's emotions, but that doesn't mean you have to react exactly the same way everybody reacts. You know, if you're in competition with someone and they win and they're a friend, yeah, you want to be happy with them, but honestly, you are also going to have some other feelings. So this is just be honest about your feelings, be genuine with them as these events come in. Don't act like, you know, oh, Susie Q over here is really sad. Are we supposed to be sad here? You know, just be you, have an authentic reaction. If you're confused by something, if someone or something has come in, I just think this is like validating. This is a validating line of just like any emotional reaction you have to something is fine. It's real, it's you, it's sincere, you know, you don't have to force yourself to try to have, oh, I guess I should be happy this person's back in my life. If you're not, don't be. If you are, be, right? Like don't play a game or something like that, and don't try to conform to what you think you're supposed to be feeling, is what this line and this whole hexagram is be sincere in your feelings. So then we have lines 5 and 6, and I like that both of these came out even though they're both repetitious, because I think it's a thing that needs repeating, and I feel like we could have misunderstood or something if it was just one of those lines. So I love that they came out. It's very clarifying. So the literal translation of line number 5 is punished by imprisonment, no peril. And so the understanding of this line is that if you haven't done anything wrong, don't worry about it. Other people might be getting their dues, getting yelled at, getting called out, whatever. If you're fine, you're fine. Like, don't worry about it. If you didn't do anything wrong, if you were sincere in your actions, if you were genuine in your actions, then what needs to happen for you will be happening for you. So, and then line number 6, literal translation, a chicken flies to the sky. It's going to be like 1 second. Omen of disaster. So that could be really bad. But sort of the general understanding of this line is there's like a really rare event, right? That's so funny because I was just like, right, as if a chicken is going to fly. They're going to fly for 2 seconds. So there might be something very unusual happening in your life. Respond authentically, whether you think that that's how you should respond, that's how you're expected to respond. Respond authentically. And you know what? I'm going to say no harm, no foul, but in my mind, like that's a spelling joke about a chicken. A rare event, the problems, there are only problems for assholes, basically, is what this is. Like, if you haven't been a jerk, don't worry about it. If you've been a jerk, you should probably get a little concerned. But if you haven't been a jerk, if you've been nice to people, sincere, a positive, not positive, because that has a tone of false positivity. But if you've been sincere, been true to yourself, been true to your energy, been true to your values, then in this rare event, so something weird is happening, and it's gonna take you out of your peace. It's gonna ruffle your feathers. But it's only gonna be a problem, right? We have imprisonment, an omen of disaster, but it's only a problem if you're a problem. And that concept has come out twice, like here. So in these 2 lines, it's only a problem if you created it, if you did something, you're gonna have consequences. This is a lot like the justice card, I feel like, or the judgment card. Like, if you've acted in integrity, you've done your best, and you've been making sincere choices and acting from the heart, no problem for you. If you've been trying to play some sort of game with someone, get them to like you, even though you don't really like them, if you've been, trying to manipulate people and get something out of them, now you're going to have a problem. That will be who has the problem here. So that's kind of rare to me. I feel like life just kind of, right, these huge waves come and they hit the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. Everybody gets hit with, COVID. Everybody gets hit with these things that move through history. Like, pandemics have always moved through any collection of humans. So that's not unusual, and it usually doesn't really care very much about like how you live your life. So this is a really interesting thing to come through, is something that we're getting a repeated thing of, like, you're not going to be part of the roundup, and you're not going to go to jail if you didn't do anything wrong. That's not always true, but that's what this is saying. You didn't do anything wrong, don't worry about it. All right, so then where we're moving to, the hexagram, everything switches. Each trigram has 2 out of 3 changing lines. So like 66% of this situation is changing, right? You're out in peace here in your hammock, and then 66% of your life changes, or something like that. I don't know. That's just a silly calculation. So hexagram 46, we read the body of the hexagram instead of the lines. So it's 46, it's called ascendant. So what could be better than that? Ascendant. Sign of the great sacrifice, see the great personage, fear not. I feel like that's this, like, something's going to come through that's going to like rock your world. Do not be afraid. Don't be afraid. And every time I hear do not be afraid, I'm like, why? Why are you telling? What's going to happen that's going to make me afraid? What are you doing here? What's happening, life? That my natural response would be to be afraid, and you're telling me don't be afraid. So that's work I've got to do when I hear fear not. Like, that makes me more afraid. But this is saying just it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And I feel like that's just, we got this like, boom, something's happening. But you know what? You're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. There's going to be a variety of responses to this event. You just do the one that comes naturally to you, and it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. You didn't do anything wrong here. So fear not, favorable for the southern expedition. So the general idea behind this is, see the great personage. I don't know how we get personage. Like what's translating into personage instead of person? I don't know. So, but ask for help if you need it. If you need a lawyer, if you need a therapist, if you need a mentor, if you need to talk to your boss, ask, because not whoever you're going to ask, but obviously be judicious in who you're asking. But when you ask for help, this person will help you. You're going to have the right help. It's going to be fine. So there is someone good to ask for help, and they will be willing to help you. If they're not willing to help you, keep going, because there is someone here that is willing to help you. And they are a higher up. They are someone who has more experience in this than you do. They are someone who maybe, consults for a profession or something like that. So this is very much a Three of Pentacles consultant vibe. Get a consultation. It is the great personage. This is talking about maybe a boss energy, an emperor type person, a leader, call your congressman, maybe something like that, like something along those lines. So you will find help from a higher up with more power and say than you have in this situation. And then also a significant move will benefit you. So it's a great sacrifice. It's a great move. It's a bigger move. So this seems like there'll be something significant for you to do, or some significant change to make. But I mean, we were already seeing that with you being between a rock and a hard place here, but now everything's opening up. Like there's a big grander scheme of things that's opening up for you to move through. There's openings in if you're looking for an apartment, there's apartments available that will be right for you. Not all apartments will be available right for you, but there will be one that is, or a couple that are. Like there's openings here where what before felt, you might have felt stuck or trapped in a situation, and now there's a lot of movement, and then with that movement you're responding by having more initiative and being able to tap into more initiative, because there is so much movement here. So being faithful to your goals, it's really talking about, like, you have the opportunity now where before you did not. Now you have the opportunity to like make something happen. You still have to work. It's not like, oh, I hope this is going to happen. This is like, you have an opportunity to really make something happen and make some headway in something that's you felt maybe blocked in, and like, I don't know what to do, a little bit helpless. A little bit helpless in a situation where you felt boxed in by all the sort of events around you, and now you can see a way to move forward. You're not necessarily being picked up and moved there. This is going to require work on your part, reaching out to people on your part, and staying faithful to your goal step by step to make something happen. So, and it isn't just a minor thing. This is a bit of a significant move for you. So, and you might have mixed feelings, actually. You yourself might be reacting differently. You might have mixed feelings one minute and then another minute, something else. So just honoring those mixed feelings, that's a pretty normal response, even to really great things that happen to us. So they're saying this is a big event. This is significant. And we've got the World card too, talking about something big. So I'm going to pull a couple cards here from my Oracle deck, see what else. Although with 4 dynamic lines, seems like that's like a lot of information we already got, but 2 of them are very repetitious. What do we got? There's no rain today. So you have a good day, take it. Oh, this can really be about mixed feelings and mixed emotions, and it's sort of the be here now, trying to be very present with whatever is going on and however you are feeling about it. And when you have a good day and things are going well, take it. Don't let maybe yesterday was crappy and horrible, or maybe you were just tired and sad, but you get a good day here. Focus on the good day. Just let's forget about what happened back there. Focus on the good day. So no rain today. So you've got some good stuff coming in, and take those wins as best you can. Okay, this card wants to come out. Adjustments are required. I think you are. I mean, we've already kind of covered that, where you're sort of going from a place of feeling blocked in and no movement to needing to move. So you're going to have to change a little bit of the way you move. We're talking about like also like a significant move on your part. So it's just, to me, that's talking about things are moving, things are changing. You might need to take a step to the right, a step to the left, something like that. Like, it could be like something external needs adjustment, but I think you're responding to it. I feel like it's both. Like something is changing in your environment and you're changing with it. You need to change with it, right? That's this too. Like your environment is changing, so you change with it. You're having a sunny day, so you accept the sunny day and enjoy it, so you change with it. I mean, there's a lot to be said for picking your energy, right? And setting intentions for how you want to feel. But so this is that though, for also good days. Like don't let the bad shit that happened around it. You may need an attitude adjustment to accept something. And then we have nothing is yet set in stone. It kind of felt like it, right? I was talking about between a rock and a hard place. So everything's shifting. Well, yeah, that's what, I mean, just with 4 dynamic lines and both trigrams changing, right? We're talking about 66% change, 66% chance of change, or 66% change here. It reminds me of a weather report. But nothing is yet set in stone. So the situation is, oh my gosh, it's unstable. But look at this. In this Moonology card, we have the ocean of history, of events outside of our control that we're a little boat on. There's a lot of movement here. A lot of change can happen. The situation becomes unstable. It seems like a stable situation is becoming unstable. And there's a lot of flow there. Everything's in flux here. There's a lot of movement. You're moving, the details of the situation you're dealing with are moving, and then there's like just this much greater movement in the world around you too. There's a huge change in the world around you, a huge shift. I don't know what I mean by that. Like, I want to say like specifics, like what do I mean by huge shift? There's a big shift. There's openings where before everything seemed like it was just going to be always the same, always the same, always the same. The power dynamics, the power structure is always the same. And then it changes from, 2 yang lines to 2 yin lines. Like, okay, now there's openings. Now there's reception. All right. These cards I pull as chiromancy, but they can also be part of the other aspects here. We have hummingbird spirit, joy. So looking for hummingbirds. And also joy, right? We were talking no rain today. Joy. We've got some good stuff coming in. And this hummingbird is reminding me, I pulled this card recently when I was heading in for a specialist consultation on a healthcare matter. And, you're not only just worried about the healthcare matter, right? And everything's fine, but you're not only worried about the healthcare matter, you're also worried about like, how is my interaction, especially I think as a woman, having to interact with male doctors who are often extremely dismissive, totally rude, say the most bizarre stuff, like, no, this is not happening because I'm single. What the fuck? Where would, okay, next doctor, we can't work together. Just crazy crap, right? So I had pulled this card heading into the doctor's appointment, and it was joy, it was good. But as I walked in, there was a big panel and a LCD. Anyway, it was a big panel, and they had like pictures that probably one of the staff had taken, who's like a photo junkie, likes to take that. That's what it looked like. And right when I walked in, I walked past this panel, and I had to avoid someone else. So I was like inches from the panel, and it was just like this. And it was basically it was a hummingbird. And it was like 3 feet wide. It was huge and in my face. And I just felt like, all right, I hear you loud and clear. So I love those synchronicities. And this doctor was absolutely delightful to work with, really respectful, really kind, amazing, solved my problems in office. There was no further follow-up needed. It was great. So I felt that this was very accurate, and I was very grateful heading into it because it really helped my worry level. So anyway, yeah, so I like these cards as chiromancy, like look for a hummingbird. It can remind you to choose joy, to enjoy what the moment, if you've got a good moment, joy. And then this hummingbird spirit can be really beautiful. Also, the number 22 is here. And of course, this hibiscus flower is here too, this bright pink flower. And then we have elves, playfulness. So this reminds me, so obviously, maybe you'll see some elves, but maybe someone does some work for you, right? I've always appreciated that when I'm working on something and then someone comes in and kind of like does a few of the details. So it's just less on my plate, and then I turn around and here are these details done. So yeah, you have a comet, so hopefully that's not what we're talking about. If we do have a comet, it's going to be good for you. You're going to be fine. We have a blue butterfly, a crescent moon, which we should be having. Number 15. We have a river, a blue dress, and the idea of playfulness. And elves, maybe you will see some elves. Who knows? Who am I to say what you're going to experience or not? This is chiromancy, synchronicity play there. So, and then we're going to grab a little prayer for you. It's our prayer for Pisces as their world gets rocked. Oh, this one got left behind, so I have to grab that one, and then there's this one. Proud peacock, prestige, self-respect, awareness, regal bird bursting with color, your confidence and grace, I would know. Confidence and grace, I like that. Self-respect, self-awareness, I think you need to be very aware of your emotions, your genuine, real emotions. Prestige could be cool. Interesting. I mean, that's always related to how other people perceive you. So this is going to be good for you. Your world gets rocked. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. It could be a little like disconcerting though, and nothing is yet set in stone. So don't act like you already got something you don't have. Have a little humility with the changing orders of things. So orderly owl, that's funny. Mastery, logic, discernment, solitary watcher of the night. Give me a sacred vision in the moonlight. So I think also this relates somehow to this nothing is set in stone. I think we have a lot of birds here, so there might be a lot of communication. This works with the wind spirit idea, the wind idea. A sacred vision. You may not have a vision already of where you want something to go. Clarity in the dark. All right, well, Pisces, if you want to join me over on Vimeo, we're doing that. I'll have a full tarot spread over there. And then I just charge a little token amount for the energy exchange just to respect that exchange there. So if you want to join me over there, that's great. If not, I'll catch you guys another time. Ciao.